then right here at the end, and I'll ask you, Rob, how you simply got started and how you got involved, because we heard your story about doing a bunch of different things, but what led you to sport and specifically to sledge hockey and so much others?
Well, I'd been approached about 3 years before that to play the sport, and the approach made all the difference in the world to me. The first time I was approached, it was a case of disabled sport, disabled this, a bunch of disabled, I have nothing against disabled, I am, However, I like competition. I like to compete. I have a brother, I have a sister, you have that interaction. For me, just that whole label I didn't like. I fought against that my whole life. Being able to decide for myself what I can and can't do, rather than having a label tell me what I can and cannot do. So 3 years later, a guy just randomly approached me and said, hey, I see the way you walk. I was ambulatory at the time. And he said, is that a permanent disability? I said, yes. And I told him what it was, and spina bifida and that. And he said, look, we have this little hockey thing going. He says, pick up, come on out, try it. If you don't like it, don't have to play. He was an able-bodied guy. And I said, so able bodies play? He's like, yeah. So it was that whole mix and interaction. So there was no difference. And that drew me in. I thought, hey, what the heck? Free that, that time. I went, I played. I loved the sport from that moment on.
Carl?
All right, well, I started, as in the bio, I started when I was only 2 years old. I gave it a try. My mom found out about cruiser sports way back in the day when I was only two, and the equipment was really, really heavy back then, as Rob can attest to. And as a 2-year-old, I still had the mindset that I wanted to play hockey on skates, just like Wayne Gretzky. So and I couldn't move the sled and whatever. So, my mom took me out to a few open skates where I would only be able to skate holding like one of those rollator things. So, as I aged, so to speak, up until the age of 7, I finally came to the realization, okay, can't play in the NHL if I'm going to use a rollator. So I'll give this sledge hockey thing a shot again. And sure enough, took to it when I was 7 years old, and I'm still a member. I'm 27 now, so I've been a member of the Cruisers for 20 years and loved every minute of it.
Speaking of the Cruisers, then I'll get you to jump in, Anthony. I should have mentioned, too, best dressed guy here. Putting us all to shame. But Anthony, how did you get involved?
Well, I got involved playing like disabled sports and stuff when I was really young, but I had so much physical pain I couldn't really play competitively in the sense of wanting to go like harder and play like the way I wanted to. So recently, when I had my stay here, I listened to Paul's speech, and that really influenced me on wanting to get more physically active. And I was never really like a guy to sit on my couch and just eat potato chips. I wanted to actually do stuff, so that never really stopped me. So yeah, just getting involved that way.
And Sally, yourself?
I grew up here, well, part of my childhood in Toronto. So I started with basketball. The Toronto Spitfire actually started as a cheerleader before I was allowed to play. And I went from cheerleading to playing. And I played up until last year, mostly on. I think I calculated and I stopped at 30 years playing. But I've done just about every sport you can think of. I've briefly played sledge hockey, discovered I'm way too little. The bottom of the boards don't give. So I decided enough of that. But my most success was in powerlifting. And how I got into that was I was in athletics, and our coach made us do a 1-rep max test, which is a bench press test. How much can you lift once? And I beat everyone on the team, including all men. So I switched sports. The following season, I went to a novice powerlifting event. I won, and I came within 5 pounds of the Canadian record. My first time out, and the next thing I knew, the Canadian team was calling me. And my second meet was on the Canadian team. and I was on it for 10 years.
I'm not even going to ask how much you lifted. I don't want to be put to
I
shame.
have a current Canadian record of 77.5 kilos.
Wow.
Which is 100.
I said I wasn't going to ask. Why are you telling me?
It's only 170, 175 pounds.
Just something Carl actually said that just kind of jogged a question I have of all of you. How many of you have seen the different sports that we've played? The sledge hockey, the wheelchair basketball, the weightlifting? You know, just
Yeah.
raise your hands if you have or haven't.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of you, most of you have, some of you haven't. It's just the reason I ask is because we're going to talk in a way that I guess we kind of assume you've all
That
seen it.
people have seen it.
So I just wanted an idea on that. Thanks.